Good energy fills me. I feel the love. I know it's not me.
The Crusaders for Colon Cancer is an organization I highly support. This organization offered my family financial and emotional support during the time my mother was battling cancer. This organization provided us with gift cards to relieve some of the financial burdens, as well as a wonderful nurse that walked us through the process of finding an oncologist and someone to support my mother's emotional needs. During treatment, my mother was never left alone. She was always supported, and someone from the Crusaders would always reach out to make sure my mother was provided the best care. So Crusaders for Colon Cancer, thank you so much. My mother did pass away in 2020, but I thank you for the support that you provided me and my family. Thank you.
My name is Jacqueline Hopkins. I just want to send a shout out to Crusaders for Colon Cancer for being there for the community when they are in need. March is the month where colon cancer awareness is more prevalent. Try to bring awareness to the communities and to those who may not know too much about colon cancer, the preventions, the symptoms, and how one can be treated. Through this organization, my uncle actually was a recipient for the financial assistance that Crusaders do offer for anyone suffering from colon cancer. It is amazing how expensive the parking is as it relates to getting your treatment, going to sit with one who may have been hospitalized. And I just want to say, on behalf of my uncle, thank you very much, Crusaders, for being there for those who were in need.
Good afternoon. My name is Vivian Shelvin, and I am a colorectal cancer survivor. I was diagnosed June 6, 2018 with colorectal cancer T3B. I've been cancer-free for 3 years and 3 months. I had no family history of colorectal cancer. I had no signs or symptoms. My story is unique. I told my husband, I say, honey, it's time for us to go take a colonoscopy. He said, what's that? I say, we're of age now for our colonoscopies. He said, what's that again? I said, they take a picture of the colon to check it for cancer. It's a wellness thing you do. He said, let's go get them together. I was shocked. He was willing to go. Of course, I had to get one done also. We made the arrangements to see the GI doctor. The morning we were scheduled to go and get our colonoscopies, we got up taking selfies, just smiling, just, planning on going out to eat when we got done, talking about our situation last night. When we were in the waiting room, the recovery room, the doctor came in, he looked at my husband, he said, Mr. Shelvin, I see you in 10 years. You don't have any polyps. He looked at me, he said, Ms. Shelvin, he said, I was waiting for your path report to come back. I think you have adenocarcinoma. He said it was confirmed by the path report, and I think it's rectal, colorectal. I cried, I prayed, I was so scared. All I could think about was treatment, chemo, radiation, surgery, hair loss, just not feeling good, and most of all, just not surviving. Never did I think about I may be a cancer survivor. Look at me, a survivor. Look at me now. I am a survivor. My treatment began, my journey was long. My treatment began at MD Anderson. It was I was part of a national clinical trial. I had chemo, radiation, neoadjuvant radiation, and also I had a planned resection on 3/29/2019, which was aborted due to my blood pressure dropped and I coded. Surgery again was on April the 4th, 2019, lower anterior resection. My treatment role was not so bad. I had a great team of doctors at MD Anderson in the medical center. Excellent support from my family, friends, church members, my pastor, my Eastern Star Sisters, co-workers at the Houston VA. I did get involved in a survivorship program, which is called Active Living After Cancer. But most of all, I never lost my faith. I want to leave this with anyone that has not had a colonoscopy. Even though I had no signs or symptoms of cancer, I need this colonoscopy. It saved my life. Avoid the second leading cause of cancer. Go get scoped so you'll know. Be seen, get screened. Don't be scared of the scope. It's just a peek between the cheeks. Everyone take another one to be screened. Thank God for my husband who said, let's go together. I have reached several people who have never had a colonoscopy, and they all have been screened. Most of all, I continue to pray for a cure for all cancers. Again, I want to thank Ms. Val for asking me to do this video. Look at me now. I am a cancer survivor, and I thank God every day for it.
Hi, I'm State Representative Symphonia Thompson, and I want to tell you why I support Crusaders for Cancer, colon. You know why I really like to support this organization? A few years ago, I had trouble getting one of my sons to go and get a colostomy. And I talked to Valerie Smith and told her what my problem was. And she told me, oh, you let me talk to your son. I think I can talk him into it. I said, yes, I bet you could. And I'm thinking, you know, she's not going to really be able to do this. I'm having a hard time as his mother, too. Sure enough, she talked him into it. And guess what? He had 2 polyps that were taken off. And today, he's in good shape. His colon is good and healthy. And I just think of so many persons who can just go and get this simple test. And you know what? It's a lifesaver. So that's why I really support Crusaders for colon cancer.
Your do-good, through-good station. 102.5. Amazing 102.5.
Bienvenidos, aquí estamos de regreso.
Well, welcome back to United Healthcare's Medicare Pop-Up Show. And in this particular segment is our community partner segment. And this particular month, we are talking colon cancer. And here we have in the studio with us Miss Valerie Gardner-Smith. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. So Miss Gardner-Smith is a survivor and a founder of the Crusaders for Colon Cancer.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, Valerie.
Can we hear about from you, Valerie? How do you get to this point? What is exactly your organization do, and what is your voice for the community?
Okay. Well, as an organization, we help people who are underserved that are currently going through colon cancer treatment. Being a survivor, I met people along the way during treatment that couldn't afford to pay for food and go for treatment. They didn't have a place to stay. They didn't have money for parking. So I just started giving people money out of my pocket to assist them with those needs. And it's like choosing between life and death. Mm-hmm. Who should have to choose between treatment, therapy, and food or a place to stay?
Correct.
So can we begin with a little bit of history from yourself, and then we'll kind of go into maybe the facts, prevention, and the screenings that you might want to share with.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I wasn't expecting to be diagnosed with colon cancer. I went for a well woman's checkup at age 47. All of my life, I've had problems with bowel movements, but to me, it was normal to go once a week, once every 2 weeks. That was normal for me. Mm-hmm. But when I went to a well woman checkup, I asked the doctor for some medicine to help regulate me. And he checked me again, and immediately he walked me over to the GI clinic to get a colonoscopy done. 3 days later, I was tested positive for colon cancer.
Wow. Look, right here is about prevention and asking the right questions to your doctor. If you don't know literally in how to actually ask your questions and make sure that you have the right information, please contact this organization. They might be able to guide you also in what is the communication that you need to have.
And let's kind of share the website first, and then the contact information before you tell a little bit about your story, right?
Okay. The organization is Crusaders for Colon Cancer, Inc. The website is www-3cc.org.
So if you are experiencing, or you know somebody, or just need to get assistance, right? This is the website is a good place to go. It sounds, this is why you started this, right?
Absolutely.
To help other folks while you were going through your own journey.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And let me just mention one thing about the colonoscopy. And I know we're going to talk about that, but please, please, people, get a colonoscopy. I didn't want to do it at first because of pride and thinking how the test was going to be administered, but it saved my life. It truly saved my life. So be sure and get a colonoscopy.
It's surprising that that particular test is what hinders folks from getting a screening, right, or going in to get checked, because we all have, when we go to the doctors, there's different types of exams that we all have to do. None of them we all want to, right? But this is one that potentially can save your life.
Absolutely.
Para todas las personas que están escuchando en español, por favor, recuerden que la prevención está en sus manos. Tenemos que estar pendientes de lo que nos está diciendo nuestro cuerpo y hacer las preguntas correctas a nuestros doctores es lo que nos puede salvar la vida, como dice Miss Valerie. Su página de internet es www.3-ccc.org.
So, yeah, I was sharing with Valerie as I was looking at her website this morning, and really expanded kind of information that you're providing, right? Your resources, your events, people that need help. And so let's talk about like the folks that you meet in the community. I mean, when they reach out to you.
Well, a lot of times, I work for church. I work for my church.
Okay.
So a lot of people know that I have colon cancer, and they just approach me for those uncomfortable conversations because they know that I've been there, done that. In the community, on the board, there's a nurse practitioner. Her name is Regina Redmond Washington Redmond, sorry. Her area of expertise is colon cancer. So she reaches out to a lot of people at the hospitals, and we get a lot of patients that way, underserved patients that way, and as well as our events.
Wow. And so how do you, I assume you need support and funding, or is that something, how are you raising your funds to help other folks?
The grace of God and my allowance. What I do is I take my own allowance from work, and I host several events, and the donations that we receive at the events goes 100% to the patients. None of us, we don't get paid. That's not our purpose.
So you have folks out there that are needing assistance, financial assistance, because they're going through these very similar, as you described, of what you would go through when you're going through the treatment, right? The cost to be able to have the treatment, the parking. So you've mentioned kind of those incidentals that people don't really think of. Food.
Copays.
Wow.
Yes, and I have to share personal. This is an experience very dear to my heart. I lost an aunt 9 years ago because of colon cancer. And I have to say, I was right there with her, paying parkings, hours of treatments, and going after that, and going back to the regular lifestyle, which is not regular anymore.
Right.
And the cost, it doesn't get alleviated by itself.
Right.
We all need to come together as a community and help each other.
Well, let's talk about screenings. I know we have about 5 minutes left of that. Let's talk about what people can do now, should you not know, or what you need to be doing.
Okay. Well, if you see any blood in your stool, that's a first warning sign, a red flag. Go get checked. Constipation, get checked. Fatigue, unexplained weight loss. It could be something else, but it doesn't hurt to get checked for a colonoscopy. They also have what they call a FIT. That's a fecal test, when you put the feces on a card and send it in to your doctor. That's the easiest, quickest way. Then you have the colonoscopy, and then they also have a sigmoid X-ray where they go in with the camera and they look. So those are the ways for screening.
So the irregularities in which she described are things that you are bringing awareness to folks to. Should you have any of these, a recommendation is to see your doctor.
Absolutely. For me, I didn't know. 2 years prior to being diagnosed, I had black coffee grounds in my stool, and it looks like tar or coffee grounds. That was actually the old blood from the colon, signifying that I had colon cancer.
Wow.
Well, Valerie, thank you for coming this morning to share your story. And folks, Crusaders for Colon Cancer, again, her site is www.3-ccc.org. And should you need to reach out to her directly, it's 832-901-9307. Roa, we've ended another show.
Correcto. 832-901-9307, el teléfono de Miss Valerie para más información acerca de la prevención y el cáncer de colon. Thank you so much, everyone.
Right. So I encourage my own self. Turn left, focus on my own shelf. Reach for the top, don't stop. Hands.